This kielbasa and cabbage soup is real easy to make. I made a batch of homemade chicken broth the other day, and I skimmed off the top layer of fat, which I call chicken schmaltz. I'm using a good 2 tablespoons of the fat, and if you don't have chicken fat, you can use butter. The chicken fat will add a little more flavor and goes well with the cabbage. As with any good start to a soup, I'm adding in 1 large diced onion, 3 stalks of diced celery, 2 diced carrots, and a pinch of salt and black pepper, cooking and stirring for 3 to 4 minutes. Kielbasa is simply the word used in Poland for sausage. There are many types of kielbasa available in the market, and tonight I'm using a turkey kielbasa. You will find that the kielbasa comes in rings, and I have about 1½ pounds that I sliced into pieces, cooking and stirring for another minute. Adding in 2 cloves of minced garlic and cooking and stirring for another minute. This is 4 good cups of diced cabbage, and the cabbage will cook down a good bit. I don't know about you, but I like any kind of soup with cabbage. Giving that a good toss. I'm adding in a total of 6 cups of chicken broth, turning my heat up to bring this up to a simmer. Adding in 1 bay leaf. Once at a simmer, I'm covering and cooking for 20 minutes. If you wanted, you could also add in a sprinkle of thyme if you like. And it's been 20 minutes, giving it a stir and tasting for any seasonings. Now I'm adding in 3 medium peeled and diced potatoes. I'm using gold potatoes, but you can use russet. Stirring and bringing this back up to a simmer, covering, and the potatoes will take about 15 minutes to cook. As you can see, the soup does not take a lot of ingredients, and it is pretty simple to make. The soup is done, and I'm removing the bay leaf. I like putting about 1.5 pounds of the kielbasa in the soup so there is enough for everyone. I have 1/2 pound of the kielbasa left, and I will be making a kielbasa hash in the morning. Stay tuned for that recipe. I love everything about this soup. The kielbasa is flavorful, and who doesn't like cabbage and potatoes together? This Polish kielbasa and cabbage soup is easy and delicious. I hope you give it a try and enjoy. This Indian chicken mulligatawny soup features lots of flavors like curry, garlic, ginger, and is full of veggies, chicken, and rice. Just what you need in this cold weather to warm your fingers and toes. In my soup pot on medium heat, I'm adding in 2 tablespoons of butter and 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. You always hear me say, onions, celery, and carrots are a good start to a soup, and this is no exception. I have about 2 cups of diced onions and 1 cup each of celery and carrots. I'm adding in a sprinkle of salt and black pepper now, and I'm going to taste it throughout the cooking. Cooking and stirring the veggies for about 5 minutes. These are the wonderful spices we are adding. I have 4 teaspoons of curry powder, 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric, 2 bay leaves, and a sprinkle of cayenne pepper for a little background heat, 2 large cloves of minced garlic, and 1 teaspoon of minced ginger. As you can see, these spices are going to fill this soup full of flavor and comfort. Cooking and stirring only for a minute to wake up those flavors. I'm adding in 5 cups of chicken broth, and I'm turning my heat up to bring this up to a simmer. To make it a little creamy, I have 1 cup of half and half, and you can also use cream or even a cashew cream. Giving that a good stir, bringing up to a simmer, covering and cooking for 10 minutes. This is 1/3 cup of white rice that I rinsed and drained well. You can also use basmati rice. And here I have 2 diced apples, and I'm using Granny Smith. These really bring some texture and a slight sweetness to the soup. It kind of balances all the flavors. Giving the soup a taste, and I'm adding in a little more salt. Bringing the soup back up to a light simmer, covering, and cooking an additional 15 minutes or until the rice is tender. The soup is done, and I'm fishing out the bay leaves because they've done their job. I'm adding in about 3 cups of diced cooked rotisserie chicken and giving that a good stir. I'm cooking 1 to 2 minutes just to heat the chicken through, and we are done. You will be amazed how rich and comforting and good this chicken mulligatawny soup is. It's also a beautiful and colorful soup. Garnishing with some whole Greek yogurt, a sprinkle of diced tomatoes, and some chives. This Indian chicken curry soup is easy and comforting, and you can have it ready in 30 to 40 minutes. Full of flavor, and this soup recipe is a definite keeper. I hope you give my Indian chicken mulligatawny soup a try, and enjoy. You can use all ground beef in this recipe like I'm using, or you can split it with ground beef and Italian sausage. This is about 1.5 pounds of ground beef that I'm cooking and chopping until no longer pink. This beef seems to be on the leaner side, but if you need to, drain any excess fat. Adding in 1 small diced onion and half a red bell pepper. You could also add in some mushrooms, anything that you would add in your lasagna. Cooking and stirring for 2 to 3 minutes. Of course we have to have some garlic. This is 4 cloves of minced garlic, and I'm also adding in a pinch of salt and black pepper. Cooking and stirring for a minute. I have 1 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. Here you could also use a combo of diced tomatoes or tomato sauce. Use what you have in your pantry. For the seasonings, I have 2 teaspoons of Italian seasonings and 1 teaspoon of basil. Giving that a good stir and turning up my heat to bring this up to a simmer. I'm slowly adding in 5 cups of beef broth, and if need be, I'll add a little more later. It all depends on the consistency that you like, whether you like it thick like we do or more soupy. Bringing this up to a simmer and cooking for 5 minutes. For this recipe, you want to use 10 to 12 ounces of pasta. I had half a box of lasagna that I broke randomly into pieces, some small and some bigger. I also have 1 cup of shells that I needed to use, so in they go. Again, using what I have. Giving that a stir, bringing up to a simmer, and cooking for about 15 minutes or until the pasta is tender. After the pasta is done, I'm turning off my heat. I have a 1/4 cup of grated Romano cheese, or you can use Parmesan cheese. To make this a little creamier, I'm adding in a 1/3 cup of cream, and this is optional. I think the cream mellows everything out and brings everything together. Giving that a good stir and on to the final step. Spooning the lasagna soup into an oven-proof bowl. I'm topping with a tablespoon of ricotta cheese and sprinkling with a nice layer of grated mozzarella cheese. I'm popping these under the broiler for a minute or until the cheese is melted and bubbly. And here you go. The lasagna soup is ready. Garnishing with a little parsley and serving with toasted garlic bread. After you eat this soup, you will be hard-pressed to make the traditional lasagna. So cheesy, comforting, and good. I hope you give this homemade lasagna soup recipe a try and enjoy. If you like this video recipe, please hit the like and subscribe button. Remember to hit the bell next to the subscribe to make sure that you get my future video recipes. You can also find me on Facebook and at my website. Feel free to share this recipe and my channel with your friends and family. And until next time, much love!